Hello and welcome along to another of our chats with drivers that we're going to have the pleasure of seeing racing this coming year, we hope. And it's Mini driver Lewis Gaylor. Lewis, thanks very much for chatting to us. And I think really the news was broken, but tell us about who you're going to be racing with and what you're going to be doing this year.
Yeah, so thank you very much for having me, Richard. So this year, the 2020 season of the Mini Challenge, we decided to go with Elite Motorsport, new and upcoming to the championship. A very, very good reputation around the BTCC paddock. And I think personally for me at the age I'm at and the goals that I've set myself, they sort of are related to the ones that Elite have set as well. So I think it was a perfect fit, and obviously them being really local to me as well makes it 10 times better.
So how did the link come about with Ed and Elite? Because I know you were with Accelerate last year, but I'm guessing you knew Ed from the Ginetta Scholarship, which again is something we'll cover later on.
Yeah, so the scholarship was where we met Ed early. We had some conversations with him beforehand, but sort of after scholarship, we become really close with him. And then sort of a lot of things happened. We went off to the minis and then got in contact with him again last year and sort of come to some agreement about racing this year with him.
That's good to see. I want to turn the clocks back because a lot of our people will know your name, but they might not know your background and how you've come into racing. And I guess the start for many youngsters like yourself is karting. So tell us about where you karted and what you did.
Yeah, so I karted from the age of 7. It was just me, my mum, and my dad. We literally just went along to the Sunday League kart clubs that was on, and sort of made our way through the rankings of that, and went on to buying my own kart. We done a bit of mini max, a bit of junior road tax, nothing serious, no Super One, no Europe racing at all. We literally just went club racing just down at Ella Park. And if I'm totally honest with you, it wasn't nothing glamorous at all. We literally, me and Dad turned up on the Friday, done a bit of testing, slept in the trailer the Friday night. The water was dripping through. We slept in our clothes. It was something that we chose to do. And, at the end of the day, we went there to race. We wasn't sort of worried about anything else. And I think now I look back on that, it really does make you appreciate what you have now and what I've worked up to. So karting is where it sort of all started and all stemmed from for me.
It's a good environment, and Ella Park, I was looking through some of the names that you were racing against. Yours actually seemed to be the only name that stood out for me as having gone through the scholarship in the last couple of years. So how did you find out about the Ginetta Scholarship?
We wanted to go into cars for about 2 years, and we was just sort of looking around, and that's hence the reason why we didn't go to Europe, because we wanted to save our money to go into a car racing championship. And we were looking around. We found out that Ed Elite was just based down the road. So I went to do a bit of work experience actually down there. And I was literally just changing wheels and cleaning the cars and just getting my hands dirty wherever I could, really. And we sort of done a little bit of testing. And then Ed told us that, try the scholarship. So we went for the scholarship, and sort of all just started to kick off from there, really, Richard.
The scholarship's a terrific thing. For me, I've been a judge the last 3 years, and you get a number of people that stand out, and without wanting to flatter you or anything else, that I think you're the person that made the biggest impression on me early on in that first year that I did it, with Ruth Harrison, who was co-judge as well. And you came in, you looked the part, very well presented. You really stood out. I'm not saying the others didn't. I don't want to belittle what others have done in the scholarship, but you really made an excellent first impression. But then you backed it up. You're very welcome. But then you backed it up with the performance on the tarmac as well. So how did you prepare? Did Ed coach you or anyone coach you, or is it just the way you are?
To be honest with you, Richard, it was just, I knew I was entering the scholarship a year before the scholarship. And from my previous experience from the karting and things, I haven't had anything handed to me on a plate. It's all been hard graft, and you sort of make your own luck in this world. And I was training every single day for it, and training for my media. I was doing videos in my living room with my mum and dad, just videoing myself. And to be honest, everything and anything that I could do to try and make me a better person, ready for the scholarship, I was doing. So it really did make me learn a lot and prepare me for the big world and the bigger motorsport world that I'm in now.
You certainly did yourself proud, and we've had some really good. I've done 3 years of it. We've had some great people coming through, and as a judge, I've got to say it's actually heartbreaking when you get to meet a lot of people. I wouldn't be talking to you now had I not met you at the scholarship. I doubt. You meet a lot of people, you make a lot of good relationships, and it's heartbreaking actually to see some people go home on the first day, and then some go home at the first part of the second day, and for you to lose out. You were second overall, I think, with Abby Pulling when James Taylor won it. I think we all wanted there to be 3 winners, and obviously Ginetta can't finance that. But it's disappointing for us. It must be hard for you and your family to take as well, with the effort that you put in.
Yes, definitely. All credit to Ginetta for giving us youngsters the chance like that. It's fantastic for us to be able to have that kind of opportunity. And like you say, there can only be 1 winner. But I look back on it now, Richard, and to be honest, it didn't put me in bad stead from there onwards coming second, because when I look back on it now, it's made me a stronger person. And maybe I wouldn't have been racing the minis now, and would I have had a drive? So you can look back on it in all different angles.
And going into minis, I read the press release when you joined the Mini Championship. The announcement went out, which was great. And you're actually only 15. Now, the point that I'm making is for minis, you had a USP in minis, in which when you made the announcement, you weren't of age to race them. And secondly, you were the youngest driver in the championship. So that was a good thing. And the other point for me is that you didn't do any of the junior car formula. You've gone straight into a top level senior championship. You didn't do Fiesta Junior, didn't do Sax Max, didn't do Ginetta Junior. You could have been doing junior formulas at age 16, but you chose to go right in a very professional top level championship. So why did you do that, and what was it like?
To be honest, Richard, I don't know. Maybe I like giving myself a tough time. To be honest, coming from the scholarship again, it just made me so determined to just get to where I want to be and prove to people. Not only prove to other people, but prove to myself that I can do it. I've never for 1 second doubted myself. And we went to Snetterton for a test day, or to just watch at a test day, and we saw the minis there, and we thought, wow, these are some awesome bits of kit. So we sort of went home, done our homework on it, and sort of got into them, raised the sponsorship budget, because, they were a new and upcoming series, and they're fantastic to look at as well. They're a proper racing car, and it all sort of just fell into place, which was a blessing after the scholarship as well. So yeah, that's sort of how we got into them. And I look back on it now and think, we done well.
You did very well. First round was Alton Park, real driver's circuit, Alton Park. I don't like using that phrase, actually, driver's circuit, but it is a difficult one to be able to make your debut on. And you got a top 10 in race 2. Incredible for a 16-year-old, youngest driver in the championship, up against a lot of drivers who have a lot more experience of senior racing and very much knocking on the door of touring cars. Obviously, we've got Jiggy Gornall has signed for touring cars this year. So that must have been a great weekend.
Oh, yeah, fantastic weekend. Like you say, with the experience that the minis have got in there, it's no slouch championship at all. It's one of the best in the UK. And yeah, for me, Alton Park was the highlight of the season. It was my best round, and I've sort of stemmed off that ever since. But unfortunately, from there onwards, we sort of had this rollover effect of bad luck, and we sort of had brake problems throughout the rest of the season. And at Silverstone, where we thought we were going to be strong, we were actually 10 horsepower down at Silverstone, which, Richard, you can imagine, in a straight line at Silverstone, 10 horsepower down, you're just a sitting duck. And at Snetterton, at my last round as well, when I was winning the rookie race, and I was, in the car, I was so excited. My first ever rookie podium was on the cards with 2 laps to go, and unfortunately, one of the wires in my gear stick had come out, so it was causing the vibration of the car to go through the gearbox, which was then thinking that I was trying to change gear when I wasn't. So obviously, coming out of corners going on the straight, it was vibrating, revving, sort of as such that the clutch was slipping, but it was trying to change gear. So we, in a straight line again, we just got overtook. And I think, we had this bad luck, but obviously, I was learning so much throughout the season with all the experienced drivers around me and my experienced teams that I had around me. And I think, to be honest with you, that's sort of the reason why we moved to Elite Motorsport, to gain the right people around me. And pre-season testing has been fantastic so far. I think we've got the car 85% to where we want it now, ready for this season. But, you know, I'm not perfect, but I'm trying.
And you've got Max Coates, who's a very seasoned saloon car racer with you, and he's going to be new to Mini, so you might be able to teach him a thing. And I guess you know, you're going to learn off each other.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Max Coates being in Elite Motorsport as well, obviously the experience that he's got is just immense. So to be at the young age I'm at now and to be climbing the ladder of the motorsport world, I'm sort of in the right place. And again, that was sort of the reason why we went with Elite Motorsport.
Going back to last year's championship, obviously you told us about the problems you had in the last round. You still got that car home. I think you only have one non-finish all year, which is testament to you being being able to drive through the problems, see through it. And you were one of only a handful of drivers that had to drop scores. So all of the other ones were the top 5 or 6 in the championship. I think James Gornall didn't drop any, but the immediate 5 below him and you. So you were up in that top set, which was a great year for me to watch. The other thing that was a sort of pivotal moment for me was watching at Brands, the Mini Festival. And it was a key moment for me. The cars were coming through Surtees, which is the sort of back straight, coming off the back straight, left-hander and right-hander, Surtees into McLaren. And there was a moment there I thought, do you know what? I'm actually watching touring car racing here. The poise of the cars, the numbers of the cars, the closeness of them, and the fact that it was, you know, only a small mistake would allow somebody through, or that little bit of extra skill. It is very much, isn't it, a feeder for touring cars?
Yes, definitely. And I think that's part of the reason why the Minis had to go on to the TOCA weekend. You know, there's such an eye-catching racing championship. And I think, you know, like you say, they are a mini touring car. So it had to happen. We had to go onto the touring car weekend just because of the attraction and because of how close our racing is compared to the touring cars.
What are the bonuses for you about being on those touring car weekends coming up?
I think the main reason is, you know, it's great exposure for my sponsors, and they play a big part in my motorsport career. So, you know, it's a great selling point for them. And also just the big stage that it's on. You know, there's so many people watching from different parts of business and racing teams and that. And I think for a young age, for where I'm at now, to, you know, where I want to go, you know, my end goal is to end up in a touring car. And I think coming from the Minis, now going on to the TOCA weekends, and like you say, being the closest thing to a touring car, for me, it's a perfect fit, you know, to where I want to move on to.
And those weekends, obviously, we've got the ITV coverage. I'm pleased to say I've been asked to work on that. My co-commentator is going to be Paul O'Neill on that. That's certainly the plan at the moment, with the dates changing around. Obviously, I guess some things will alter. But I chatted to Paul about you because I mentioned to Paul that I'd seen you at the scholarship and the impression that you'd made on us at the scholarship was great. And then he says, I know him. I can't do the accent, as you can just see. He said, and he was mightily impressed with you in the car. So what did you learn from Paul, and how did you find him as a coach?
Oh, Paul was fantastic. Paul's a really close friend to me and my family. And ever since he instructed me, I think it was at Brands Hatch when he first instructed me. And then we had him at Donington as well. But he's got so much experience, and he's a great guy all round. I mean, you know, his character just is hilarious as it is. So, yeah, I have big respect for Paul O'Neill.
Yeah, it's great to work with him, and looking forward to doing so again this year. Obviously, tough times at the minute. How are things for you with the lockdown?
Yeah, they're going well. I mean, you know, we have to abide to the rules of what the government are saying. You know, keeping ourselves safe. Health is the main priority at the minute. For us, work doesn't change. We farm 4,000 pigs for Waitrose, so if anything, it's got a little bit better for us.
Right.
But sponsorship-wise, you know, it's going to be tough for all the drivers. I know for a fact in the Mini Challenge where most drivers run off sponsors, and I think business and things like that is going to have an effect for at least another 2 years. So I'm just hoping that it can all plan out well. And I think 2020 season, when we do get underway, will be a results-based game, just like racing is, but I think even more so definitely this year.
Well, I can't wait to see you on track. I'm looking forward to that first test day, the first qualifying session where we get to see you guys as part of the touring car package with the JCW Minis. I'm glad I saw a couple of rounds last year. I actually watched a lot of them online, but glad that I got to work on a couple. Lewis, thanks very much for joining us. Our best wishes to your family in these really difficult times, and keep in touch, and we'll see you on track soon.
No, thank you very much, Richard. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.